Every gilded cage is built with walls of comfort. The only question is what you're paying for them.
Welcome to The Explainer. We're here to take really complex topics and, well, explain them. We break them down so you can see exactly how things work. So, celebrities. They have millions and millions of followers, right? But it makes you wonder, who's really leading who? Today, we're diving deep into the unseen forces behind celebrity influence, and we're going to explore how a simple, inspirational post can become a kind of Trojan horse for some really complex belief systems. And it all starts with this idea of the celebrity as a modern-day Pied Piper. All right, so to really get this, we first have to wrap our heads around the incredible power these figures have. And I'm not just talking about selling sneakers. This is an influence that runs surprisingly deep. It operates on a purely psychological level. This quote really hits the nail on the head. This goes way beyond just admiring someone from afar. We're talking about a powerful, one-sided emotional bond that gets formed. It feels personal, almost like a real friendship, even though, let's be honest, it's totally one-sided. That feeling creates a serious vulnerability, and the mechanism behind it is absolutely fascinating. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's peel back that first layer and take a look at what is actually happening inside our own brains that creates this powerful, almost magical illusion of intimacy. So, have you ever heard of mirror neurons? They're these incredible brain cells that fire when you do something, but they also fire when you just watch someone else do it. It's a huge part of empathy. So when you see a celebrity on screen getting emotional, laughing, crying, your mirror neurons can actually fire up and make you feel a version of that same emotion. It's this subconscious trick that creates the illusion of a shared experience. And that, well, that lays the groundwork for everything that comes next. And that leads us right here to what are called parasocial relationships. This is the official term for that feeling that you know a celebrity. It's a totally one-sided deal where you invest all this emotional energy. And because you feel like they're a trusted friend, their ideas, their values, their recommendations, all of it feels incredibly personal and way, way more trustworthy. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. Cognitive dissonance. This is that super uncomfortable feeling, that mental static you get when you hold two conflicting ideas in your head at once. Our brains hate this feeling and will do just about anything to make it stop. So think about it. Have you ever seen a hero of yours do something, well, something pretty bad, and you immediately find yourself making excuses for them? That is cognitive dissonance at work. You have this internal conflict. I admire this person, but also, they did something awful. That creates intense mental stress. And to resolve it, it's often just easier for our brains to defend the bad behavior than to abandon the hero we're so invested in. So once that deep psychological bond is locked in, it opens a door. And that door can be used for exploitation through some very specific rhetorical tactics. We're talking about a literal playbook here, one that's been used by manipulators, cult leaders, and gurus for centuries. This is so critical. Most people don't want to be understood, they want to be admired. Think about that. The language isn't there to connect, it's there to dominate. It's that intentionally complex, profound-sounding stuff that's designed to make you just nod along, to feel impressed, without ever really questioning what's being said. So let's put this to the test. Let's look at the kinds of messages you see from influencers and put them right next to documented manipulation tactics. When you see them side by side like this, the patterns can be alarmingly clear. I mean, just look at these. Love bombing, gaslighting, they sound extreme, right? But think about it. An influencer who showers followers with constant praise, that's love bombing. When they dismiss criticism by saying people just don't get it, that's a form of gaslighting. These techniques prey on our deepest human needs. And here's the real kicker. It doesn't just stop at the individual level. It gets amplified. And this is where we zoom out. This is where individual psychology collides with the much larger, far more powerful systems of technology and ideology. This is the invisible architecture of influence. It is so important to get this it is not just one person influencing you. It is an entire system that's designed to amplify their message. You have to remember, social media platforms are not neutral town squares. They are architectures of persuasion built to grab your attention and shape your behavior. And they can be used to funnel that influence in very specific directions. And here's how that pipeline actually works. 1. A celebrity posts something vague and spiritual, like find your inner power. 2. The algorithm pushes it to more and more receptive followers. But here's step 3, the crucial part. Niche ideological groups reframe it. Suddenly, find your inner power isn't just a nice thought, it's the first step towards, say, Gnosticism. And 4, the celebrity's fame now acts as proof, laundering this niche idea for the mainstream. This is how a celebrity becomes an unwitting conduit, and their mass appeal is used to amplify very specific ideas, turning a generic wellness post into a gateway for achieving cosmic consciousness or Kundalini rising. Every man and every woman is a star. I mean, listen to that. It's a core tenet of Thelema, an esoteric system from the early 20th century. But doesn't it sound exactly like the main character energy and self-deification messages we see from influencers today? It's a classic example of esoteric reframing. And a lot of these modern spiritual ideas are really just repackaged ancient Gnosticism. The Gnostics saw the material world as a prison and believed salvation only came through secret knowledge, or gnosis. So when you hear a modern pitch that you can manifest your reality or escape the matrix through some hidden truth, well, that's basically just a 21st century reboot of a very ancient idea. So, after deconstructing all these layers of control, from our brains to the algorithms, we're left with a pretty critical question, aren't we? In a world filled with digital mirrors and engineered influence, how do we find our own authentic voice? And this right here is the great authenticity paradox. If you're trying to be authentic based on some ideal you saw online, you're not actually being authentic. You're just conforming to a new trend. You're performing authenticity, which has been neatly packaged and sold to you. And that brings us to our final thought. In a world that is constantly screaming at you, telling you who to be, what to believe, how to feel, maybe the most rebellious, the most truly authentic act of all is the quiet, difficult, and unplugged work of finding out for yourself.